Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today I will be giving my conclusive Saints Row 2022 review. I've put a little over 100 hours into it, and I've made up my mind regarding the quality of this game. So we're just going to dive on into that, but before we do, as always, remember, this review is based on my personal experience, not word of mouth, conjecture, or is it in any way a compilation of other people's experiences and reviews, so that'll make it pretty unique on the internet regarding this game. But with all that in mind, it's obviously a subjective personal opinion, and so understand that I am not claiming that anything I say in here is the gospel truth. And so just to clarify, I played the entire game on my PC. I'm running a 3080 Ti i9-9900K build, and it eats up and shits out games like this for breakfast on ultra settings. So remember, I wasn't playing the game on your grandma's Dell desktop, nor was I trying to run it on a PS4. So if you had a different technical experience than me, remember that different systems handle games differently. I do not hate Saints Row. I don't love it either, but I certainly don't hate it. As a short TLDW, I have played every Saints Row game from 1 to 4, and even played Gat Outta Hell. I wasn't going to after Saints Row 4, but it was the Pope's favorite game, so I had to give it a try. I liked each of the previous Saints Row games to varying degrees. I would say 2 might have been the peak, but I did still quite enjoy 3. With all that being said, I am not a Saints Row fan. I have always been of the opinion that these games are fun to play once or twice through, but that's about it. And there has never been anything groundbreaking about the experience. They never really set the bar for gameplay, writing, graphics, or anything else under the sun. Saints Row games have always been exceptionally average. And so is this one. The average score that this game is getting on most review sites is in the 6 to 7 out of 10 range, and I would say that's about accurate. Now, personal opinions are just that, and can be nearly anything. But assuming we all played the same game, I feel confident saying anyone who rated this game a 9 or 10 out of 10 is lying. It's not that good. Even for someone who really likes the Saints Row formula and loves the modern open world setting, this game is not a 9 or 10 out of 10. But on the other hand, it's also not a 1 or 2. Any reviews in the 0 to 2 or the 8.5 to 10 range should be discounted as patently dishonest, because they demonstrate that the person reviewing the game either didn't play it, or they don't have a frame of reference to review it against. Technically speaking, the game, at least in my experience, was fine. I experienced 1 or 2 bugs in the entire 100-ish hours that I played it. One time I fell through the map, and another time my guns were acting funny, and going from not hitting what I was aiming at, and then to blowing up what I had fired at, like I had shot a Scud missile at it. That's it. In the entire time I played, 2 bugs/glitches that each lasted a few moments, and then I was back to normal. Like I stated at the beginning, this is my experience playing on a high-end PC, so it almost certainly isn't universal, and therefore neither can the claim that it's a buggy mess be. For me, the game felt more finished and polished than most games I've played in the last 5 to 10 years. And just to clarify, I had a similar experience with Cyberpunk 2077. Arguably, at least from my perspective, the weakest points in this game is the gunplay. It pretty much sucks. Now, it wasn't as bland and uninspired as Starfield's looks. Here's hoping that that improves before we get our hands on it, but it is basically my least favorite way of implementing guns in a video game. I don't like that every single gun feels inaccurate, slow, and ineffective. Every enemy is a bullet sponge, soaking up dozens if not hundreds of bullets before dying. These are just regular humans, some of which aren't even wearing clothing, much less body armor, and yet somehow they are mostly impervious to projectile weaponry. Every time a game uses this style of shooting, I check out almost immediately. Sure, getting hit with a bullet isn't necessarily an instant kill, but in the harder head, it is, and in a lot of other places, it's really close to an instant kill. So I hate that the guns don't pack the punch that they actually should in this game. On top of the lack of realistic damage, they are also inaccurate. Basically every gun except the sniper and the rocket launcher have an open reticle where your shots land somewhere inside that rather large circle. It makes it so the effective range of most guns is pretty much point blank. I hate that. It's one of the key reasons I've never liked games like Fortnite. Give me hell let loose accuracy and damage in every game and I will be a happy gamer. Keep this inaccurate Nerf gun crap in the trash can of the past where it belongs. And my last complaint about the gunplay is just how bad the guns look and feel. Outside of textures, animations, and the like, which are all slapdash, the bullets travel so slowly it shouldn't be surprising that they don't do any damage. You can see each and every bullet travel on its slow, arcing trajectory towards the target, only to surreptitiously splash against the wall behind it when you inevitably miss. They seem to travel slower than paintballs, so again, it just really takes me out of the combat. Other than the gunplay, the combat is fine. There are a couple of special weapons that are fun to play with, like the sticky rocket football that sends vehicles and enemies flying before exploding. That was a lot of fun. And the graphic takedowns are fun to use, but overall the gunplay hurts the combat in this game a lot. Vehicles are pretty fun in my opinion. Yeah, they aren't crazy fast or responsive, but the arcadey drifting and sideswiping is pretty fun in my opinion. I never really got bored in the car chases in the game, and I actually used cars to get around most places instead of the wingsuit or flying vehicles, just because it was the right combination of fun and fast. The only exception to this is the toxic waste disposal missions, which were so poorly done I wanted to kill someone after having to do them all. The wingsuit is fine once you get the hang of it. Once I got used to bouncing off people's heads, I could pretty much get across the entire map when jumping off a skyscraper. And the little slingshots that shoot you up into the air are all over the place, so very rarely was there a destination I couldn't easily wingsuit to. And there were enough fast travel points to make it a viable option without completely negating the need for actual real-world traversal. So I actually think the map traversal was done very well in Saints Row. If I was going to describe the characters for this game in a short way, I would say that they are a caricature of a millennial's idea of Gen Z. Some stuff wasn't that unusual to hear said by a Zoomer, and I can safely say this as a Zoomer myself, but most of it just reminded me of that Steve Buscemi meme, you know, the hello fellow youths thing, and it all reminds me that no matter how cringe you may find Gen X or the boomers, nothing comes close to the levels of cringe I see daily from the millennials trying to remain in perpetual youth. Get a job, get married, and buy a house, you wannabe hippies. My 6-year-old daughter wrote that line, and then everyone started clapping and the millennials all started to cry and apologized for being wieners. But to be more specific about the characters, they were bland, but fine, which is the exact way I would describe the characters from the previous games. These ones were just lame in a different way, but a lot of the game comes down to the player-controlled character. Now, my character was a big, tall, masculine type guy with voice option 7, which made him sound like a cowboy. This made the entire story work rather well. It made it very believable that he was capable of being an ass-kicking mercenary who does all the things that he does in this game. I can imagine that if you played the game as the stock default character that the game was advertised with, then yeah, the story probably would have felt disjointed and totally unbelievable. But for me, it was mediocre, but engaging in many ways. And that works as a segue to bring us right into the story. Yet again, I would say it was fine. If I had to compare it to anything, it would be the previous Saints Row games. Is anyone noticing a trend yet? Nearly everything, except the shooting, which was very bad, is pretty much identical to the previous Saints Row games, ranging from mediocre to fun in every imaginable way. The gameplay, the world, the graphics, the characters, the writing, everything is fine. None of it is great, and only one thing, which I've already covered extensively, is terrible. This puts it exactly on par with the entire Saints Row franchise in my opinion, and nets it a 6 out of 10 from me. I enjoyed playing it. I had fun. I played through the story once all the way through, and very exhaustively, and then again just to mess around and see how much chaos and weirdness I could get up to. And now I will likely never play it again, just like every other Saints Row game. If you like middle-of-the-road sandbox shoot-em-ups where you play as something adjacent to a violent criminal, and they treat everything with the same level of seriousness as a mechanic at Jiffy Lube, then this game may just be for you. Otherwise, it's probably not your cup of tea, and you should just play one of the other many hundreds of open-world games that have been released in 2022. And I hope you enjoy them. For me, I'll just go play Kingdom Come Deliverance again. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.